Hey guys, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're doing well. Sorry this review is late. My ticket to Dubai got eaten by my dog, and then my dog died. And then I had to hook it up to a machine, and lightning struck and brought it back to life, and I was trying to get it to puke the tickets out, but it was a lot of work. So instead of going to Dubai and, getting to check it out there, I just bought it. Old-fashioned style. Lattafa Fakhar Platin. This is what we're talking about today. This is supposed to be a Elixir clone or alternative. So we're gonna put it through its paces. I'm gonna let you guys know how it smells, whether you should check it out right after we look at the presentation. Friggin' sick intro, yeah. Wait, what do you mean that intro sucked? Ah. Le box. Here we have it. At the front, you have the name of the house, name of the fragrance, and Pride of Lattafa. On the back, you have your sticker of authenticity. You've got your ingredients. You have your barcode. And then right here on the bottom, it says Platin, and then you have your batch code. You can open up the box like so, and then your bottle sits right inside there. Here we have the bottle. It is decked out in silver or platinum, I suppose. It says Fakhar Lattafa on the front, Lattafa on top of the cap. You have that kind of fish scale design on the back of the bottle and back of the cap. Sticker on the bottom of the bottle and the cap does click into place. It is also a fingerprint magnet, so be aware of that. Let's go ahead and do a couple sprays. Here we go. Nice. And a couple sprays of Elixir for good measure. Terrible atomizer. Lattafa's atomizer is better. 1 point Lattafa. And actually guys, I bought this the day that it popped up on Lattafa's website, and it took them like a week and a half to ship it. So I actually bought it again through JOMASHOP because they listed it for $10 less than Lattafa had it on their own website like a day after Lattafa listed it. So this one right here is the one that I bought from JOMASHOP. It actually came faster. The one I ordered from JOMASHOP, which by the way, their website says they ship within 24 hours or like 24 hours if it's a business day. Not true, or at least not in my case. But this is the one I got from Lattafa. There's a little cellophane damage right there, but I'm gonna go ahead and give this one away to one of you guys because obviously I don't need two of the fragrances. Two of the bottles of the fragrance, whatever. So as of this video, $34.99 is the price on JOMASHOP. So that's what this is gonna go for there. Lattafa, like I said, I paid $10 more. I'm assuming the price is still the same there, but I haven't verified. Let's verify. There we go. Oh, by the way, if you do shop at JOMASHOP, do what I do. Use one of my codes to save yourself money. Yes, I use my own. They do change every 3 months, and they only work within the JOMASHOP app, so be aware of that. But anytime you shop there, you can use those codes to save yourself some money. Also, Gift Express, that one has changed as well. You can now use it unlimited times. It used to be apparently single-use code. They didn't let me know. That would have been good to know. But now you can use it unlimited times with the caveat that it gets you 15% off on orders over $400. Otherwise 10% off. All right, let's talk Fakhar Platin. How does it smell? Is it close to Elixir? If it is, how close? If it's not, how different? Well, Fakhar Platin kicks off tropically sweet. A good amount of guava in there, which to be fair, a note that's not used all that often in fragrances in general, especially in men's fragrances, or fragrances marketed towards men, I should say. And that sweet, almost tropical drink mix of citrus and guava along with a little bit of spiciness immediately sets Fakhar Platin apart from Elixir. Whereas this one is sugary, it's sweet, it's fruity, like I said, it's tropical and guava forward. Elixir is more aromatic, and it definitely does have sweetness to it, but not as much as Fakhar Platin, and it's also a different type of sweetness. Elixir is more fresh, aromatic, clean, dryer sheet style, It's like Eau de Parfum, but taking that sweetness from that one and toning it down, making the fragrance overall a little bit more mature, a little bit classier. That's kind of the approach with Elixir, whereas Fakhar Platin is like, yeah, you know what, screw all that. We out here, we at the beach, okay? And we gonna drink sugar drinks. I want some diabetes with my alcoholism, if you know what I'm saying, brother. Yeah, it's kind of what's going on. I don't think that was the approach, but that's kind of how it's going on over here. It's not just that. Like I said, there's spiciness in here as well. There's ginger. There's like a green cardamom as well. There's some pink pepper, and that gives this like slight zesty undercurrent. But definitely the main thing that you're gonna pick up when you first spray this on is going to be those fruits and that kind of tropical feel that it has. And one thing that you could pick up on with Fakhar Platin, admittedly, it's something you kind of have to like obsess over. You have to like really get in there. So I almost don't even want to bring it up, but it still kind of clicked in my brain, so oh well. As this one starts to kind of settle in the opening, if you smell really close on the back end of the fragrance, you get this kind of like metallic smokiness. It's very soft. It's faint. It's like a very subtle waft of, and this is gonna be something maybe some of you can connect with, others can't as much, but sparklers. Like if you've ever lit a sparkler during a celebration or whatever, and then the sparkler goes out or you blow it out or whatever, and there's that like, you know, waft of smoke that comes off the sparkler after you put it out, that kind of like metallic, very lightly fireworky kind of smoky aspect. There is a real faint hint of that in here. As the guava and everything starts to dry down and starts to fade out, you can pick that up on like the tail end of the fragrance when you smell it. Now it is one of those things that like when you smell it, then you can recognize it, but until then you'll be like, I don't really get that. It's almost like with noises or something, right? Like if there's a repeating noise, but it's way in the background, if you don't hear it, it's like, okay, cool, you're not even aware it's there. But then when you pick up on it, especially if you're like trying to sleep or something, then it's like the only thing you can hear. It's kind of like that. At the end of the day though, you have to really try to smell that. So does it even matter? Not really. For 99.9% of people, they'll probably never even notice it, especially in the air, because it's something that comes across more if you're doing this. Most people don't do that, except for you and me, because we're cool, we're cool. So overall, in the top, Fakhar Platin is not really Y Elixir. It's like a funhouse mirror version of Y Elixir. It's sweeter, it's juicier, it's more flamboyant, but it's not the same. Y Elixir is more aromatic, a bit more mature, obviously doesn't have that big guava note in there. Can you tell Fakhar Platin is inspired by Y Elixir? Sure, but it's one of those clones that is, as we say, with a twist. A pretty good one, pretty big one. Yeah, big twist. An M. Night Shyamalan Sixth Sense level twist. As it heads into the mid, Fakhar Platin does start to shift. So some of that sweetness starts to fade away, the guava takes a step back, and the fragrance becomes more aromatic. And as these dry down, they do get more similar, they do get closer. But if you're wearing them side by side, you can still easily tell which is which. That slight smokiness in Fakhar Platin that I mentioned in the opening, it's still there, but it's more like an atmospheric note. It's not prominent, it's not really up in your face. The fragrance does, as I said, become more aromatic with touches of the sweetness left over from the tropical fruits in the opening. And you've got lavender that starts to come up and become more noticeable. And that lavender is what's gonna help tie this in a little bit more closely with Y Elixir. It also has more of a woodsy aspect that comes out as the fragrance dries down and is a little bit smoother overall, just in terms of comparing it to the opening. And interestingly enough, through the mid, Y Elixir actually smells like the more vibrant of the two. It's got kind of like a sparkle to it. And it's one of those things that becomes more noticeable, more prominent when you wear them side by side at the same time. So it's a little bit brighter. It has that vibrancy to it, more so than Fakhar Platin does. And Y Elixir at that point is a nice mix of sweet, fresh, and clean. Though obviously it is still really overpriced. Yeah, Y Elixir is it's pricey, it's expensive. How much are you going for nowadays, bud? Ooh, ow. Yeah. And through the mid, with this one coming across more sparkly, this one is a little bit more flat in comparison. Also darker overall. Not that this is a dark fragrance or anything. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is Encre Noir or anything like that. It's just in a side by side. This one is slightly darker through the mid into the dry down than this one. And into that dry down, that difference maintains. Y Elixir in comparison, a little bit more airy, has that lavender that comes through more clearly, and the woodsiness here, fizzy, semi-sweet with a little bit of a zingy, almost incense note, a light zingy incense. And that gives it a little more lift. I mean, it's definitely smooth, it's polished. It is, as I said, a slightly more mature take on Y Eau de Parfum. Some people would probably say a more versatile take on Y Eau de Parfum. That is unfortunately just, like I just mentioned, overpriced. Fakhar Platin, in comparison, feels a bit thicker in the Drydown. The sandalwood starts to become more apparent. It becomes one of the focal points of the fragrance in that Drydown, and it gives the woody aspect in this one kind of like a slight creaminess. It's still lightly aromatic, and again, you can tell it's inspired by Y Elixir, but it is not a one-to-one. It actually becomes a little more cozy, a little more mellow in the Drydown, so that's gonna be a different vibe here with this one compared to Y Elixir. It trades a little bit of that freshness that this one has for like a touch of warmth almost. Don't get me wrong though, still easily worn and that type of scent that you could wear pretty much whenever you want. And speaking of that, in terms of seasonality, that's what this is. A lot like Y Elixir, you could wear it pretty much whenever you want, spring, summer, fall, winter. That being said, if you were going to really hone in on when it's probably best suited, spring, summer, early fall. And due to the way it's constructed, the way it comes across, it does lean more as a daytime fragrance than an evening scent, though obviously you could easily pull it off during the night if you wanted to wear it out. It is, after all, made somewhat in the stylings of Y Elixir, and keeping to that is the type of fragrance that's easily worn that people are going to enjoy, which is again why I said you can pull it off realistically whenever you want. Performance is solid, decent longevity, nice projection, but I will say head to head, this has actually underperformed with Y Elixir. So obviously as I've been wearing this one, I've been wearing this one at the same time, and Y Elixir has pushed a little bit further for a little bit longer in comparison to Fakhar Platin. Now when it does come to clone fragrances, there is that M word. Yeah, take your choice. I've only had this one for about a week now, so it's not been maturing like a fine, cheap clone wine. But as of this moment, with the wears that I've given these, this one has outperformed this one by a little bit. And actually off these tester strips right now that I just sprayed on earlier in today's video, this one is pushing a little harder than this one. Not that that's scientific. So in terms of being a direct one-to-one clone of Y Elixir, Fakhar Platin is not that. And if you're looking for something that is just a one-to-one or trying to be as close to this as it can be, then you would probably want this instead, which is Amaya's Abadi Opulent. This one right here is much closer to just being a one-to-one of Y Elixir. So if that's what you're after, this is a better choice for you. But if you want something that is Y Elixir-ish, with a twist, that's where this one obviously would come into play. I will say that that guava opening, that tropical fruit blast that I talked to you about with that kind of sugary opening, that is the type of thing that could make this or break it for you. Some people are gonna smell it and be like, oh, it's overloaded with that stuff, I don't want it. Other people are gonna smell it and be like, oh, sign me up, it's freaking amazing. Reactions have been much more on the positive side towards that than the negative, for what that's worth. So you could think of this one in the opening as a more playful, sweet, sugary twist on Y Elixir, compared to that more refined, slightly more buttoned up aromatic feel that the original has. And while these two definitely do get closer together as they dry down, Fakhar Platin doesn't have quite the same sparkle as Y Elixir, instead beginning to lean a little bit more into a creamy woodiness with some of the residual sweetness from the opening carrying over underneath. At 35 bucks, Fakhar Platin is worth checking out if you're a fan of Lattafa, and as long as you know that Lattafa a lot of times does do a twist with their clones, which is what's going on here. And I would imagine as time goes on, that price will dip down even further from 35 to maybe 32 to 30 to maybe 25 or so. And at that point, it is an amazing buy. And at 35, honestly, it's a really solid buy too. Maybe a little bit more of a like than a love for me overall. But yeah, Fakhar Platin, solid stuff, a nice, interesting twist on Y Elixir. And it does seem this is more the trend lately. There are not quite as many fragrances that are direct one-to-ones. Talking about clones, there's more like hybrids and twists and stuff like that. So that seems to be kind of the vibe right now. So like I said, this one I ordered direct from Lattafa's website. This one was JOMASHOP. They took forever, dude. If you want to be entered in the giveaway, usual stuff, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Let me know your go-to Lattafa, which one is your favorite. I'll pick a winner with random comment picker, post it up on the post tab. If you're the winner, hit me up. I will ship it out to you. Good luck. All right, guys, that will do it for me. Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.